All right, Chrissy here from Pop Culture Madness. Can you guys introduce yourselves, please?
Hi, I'm Rich from Gemini Syndrome.
And I'm Brian from Gemini Syndrome.
Well, thank you guys for joining me here in the Blue Hallway at the Best Buy Theater in New York.
Thanks for having us.
No problem. How's the tour going so far?
Great. It's lots of new people and just great energy from all the bands and the people.
Yeah, it's a good mix of different people coming for Five Finger and Escape the Fate, Miss May I, and us, and I think it's a good mix.
So you guys feel like you're picking up a lot of new fans along the way?
Oh, totally. As soon as we get done playing, we're always at the merch and we camp out there for the rest of the show until everyone's gone. And everyone that we meet, there's just tons of great response. I didn't know about you before, but I'm going to follow you now, so it's been great.
Your band is one that's definitely been the buzz, around the rock community. It's the name that keeps popping up. People are like, oh, you really have to go check them out. I know after Rock on the Range, that was the rumblings, throughout the crowd. They were like, they were really awesome. What is the experience these big festival environments versus the clubs?
It's daylight. That's the obvious one. It's just a totally different experience because you're outdoors, you're dealing with the elements, and you're playing for so many people. Big shows with a lot of people versus the outdoor ones, indoor. Sound like an idiot, so you're gonna edit that. Go to him.
I think people that come to the festivals come there maybe not necessarily for just one band. They come there just to kind of listen to music for the day, and maybe they're there to discover new stuff. When you play larger seated clubs, arenas, then they're pretty much for the bands that are there, not to necessarily discover new people.
They have less of an open mind about it.
Yeah, no, I can totally see that. So, with your album, are you happy with the feedback that it's been receiving? It's been out for a little bit.
The album's been out for a month, and 99.9% of the feedback's been 5 stars from everyone. Everyone's been really complimentary, and it's been really encouraging for us to know that, what we've been trying to do is catching on to people, and they actually get it, and they're spreading the word to other people.
I agree.
That's great. So can you talk a little bit about the recording process? Maybe take us in the studio and tell me what the mindset was like for one or two songs in particular.
We recorded with Kevin Churko in Las Vegas, and we, from the get-go, just recorded the songs to be done fast. There was no demoing, there was no pre-production, it was just do it. And it felt scary at first for me, but then in the end, you just kind of feel like you captured the magic that was in that moment while it happened. We recorded the first 3 songs in just 3 or 4 days.
When you know everyone's on the same page, and then it flows right, and it works like that. There's no back and forth about, well, I don't know about this, and that didn't happen. Anytime there was a slight, maybe, slowing down to think about something, it got worked out really quickly and just kept going.
So were there any songs that didn't make the cut? How much did you have left over? Anything?
We have a lot of material, and we were very specific with the material that we put on this album. There's some stuff that we have that we'll probably save it for later, but what we put out now is very deliberate.
Well, a lot of the themes, I hate to say themes, but there's a lot of esoteric and mysterious. It's like a vein of that running through your music. And how important is that? There's also kind of a duality thing.
Yeah, it's just a general kind of concept for us that we're trying to relate to everyone. Of like you're saying, there's duality and just general spiritualness. Without being preachy, it's just kind of identifying the obvious, and in the song Pleasure and Pain, all one and the same. That's kind of, an overriding theme with everything that we do is different but the same, and just kind of projecting all that.
You feel like people are picking up on that, or have you gotten any absolutely...
Definitely, I think people are picking up on it. We were in Milwaukee and someone had a 20-minute conversation with me about spirituality way beyond anything that I even knew, because he was a I don't even know what to call it, some major in college.
Okay.
You know, he was studying all these things, and he said that from looking at our music and everything that we were doing, he's like, it represents this and this and this and leads to this, and it was like, wow, you know. So it's,
Well, it makes people think, and that's something that's missing in a lot of the cookie cutter stuff that like you hear coming out. It's like, oh wait, let me actually sit down and listen to the lyrical content and see if I can pick something out of it.
yeah.
So, you know, when did music for each one of you personally start speaking to you?
I mean, I've been drumming since I was 6. I've been taking piano lessons since I was 5. You know, some of my earliest memories are watching music videos at the height of MTV, when MTV was still MTV, you know, and then throughout, you know, my younger years in high school, you know, I think that was always a very important part for me.
For me, music since the dawn of my time, just remembering growing up around my family, everyone in my family is super into music, and just between rock and pop and country and different things, I just heard it all the time, and I got absorbed with it, and I didn't realize it until I got a little bit older. And when I got older, in my early teens, I started realizing how I was just kind of with it all the time, and then it was a conscious decision to then let it come over me the same way, in a similar way that it had always been. I didn't realize.
How happy is your family that you're like pursuing this now?
Oh, I mean, my uncle, he's the first one to like get me started on guitar, and he actually was in New York City about 2 months ago, and he saw the Best Buy Theater marquee with our name on it with the 5-finger, and so he specifically is super excited. He's heard us on Sirius, and he's gotten all kind of geeked out about it. My mom, you know, she's super proud, you know, so everyone is just super supportive.
So, I mean, how much of a benefit is Sirius, like satellite radio now compared to like regular rock radio? It's definitely been a help for a lot of bands, I know.
Sirius, it's a great tool. It's the modern, you know, evolution of what everything is, you know. You know, I don't want to discount, you know, regular radio, because it's still there and it's still kicking, but it's just in a different version than it was before. But Sirius as a new platform has been great, because it has different standards and different practices, you know, operating practices of how they've gotten bands played and what they play. So it's just good, you know, it's a good tool.
Seen an uprise of social media and the way that bands are utilizing this for promotion, the way fans are sharing music. How do you guys feel about that? Have you really embraced it? I feel like it's lifted a little bit of the shroud of mystery that's around rock and roll, but it's a double-edged sword, I guess.
I'll let him talk first.
Yeah, that's pretty true. It's hard to really give a vibe of mystery when everything's just right out there in front of you, but at the same time, there's no replacing the importance of having such a direct contact with people immediately after, and keeping in touch with people for a long time after. You know, it's a tool. It's, you know, just like when they invented the radio and they invented the TV, and now the internet is what it is. It's just the evolution of technology, and you have to embrace it.
Well, after this tour wraps up, what does the rest of 2013 into 2014 look like for you guys?
More touring. When this tour's over, October 27th in Colorado Springs, we'll be back in LA gearing up for a few weeks. We'll discharging our batteries to get recharged for another tour, and then we're going to do a headline run mid-November to mid-late December. So we'll finish off the year headlining, and then do our holiday thing and get ready for next year, just tour all next year.
So what's been one of the craziest things that you've witnessed on the road so far?
You know, there's so many shows and there's so much going on day after day. There's not a lot of time for crazy, but we've had a couple days here where Aaron, our singer, had bronchitis. And so we had to do a couple shows without him, with Mike filling in, and that has definitely been one of the most interesting and unique things that have ever happened to us. But it's good to know that we can just push through it and deal with it, and it ended up working out to our advantage. So.
So, which of your songs tend to go over the best live?
Him.
Our songs just our songs go through a whole gamut. You know, we like to start heavy, take you down a little bit, and then bring you back up again. So they all are impactful, just in different ways.
I'm sure it varies too, from like city to city and crowd to crowd.
Yeah, it's definitely a wide range and spectrum of crowds in different cities. You know, some people react highly to certain songs, and then other cities different songs. So it's always a surprise to hear like, that one's the one that did it, and you're like, really? Last city, this was the one that did it. You know, but no matter what, there's always been a favorite from somebody.
Absolutely. I always wonder if like bands during the writing process tend to, I don't know, get a feeling about a certain song and go, yeah, I think that one's the single, and then are completely surprised when the fans gravitate towards something completely different.
Yeah.
It's absolutely true. That happens a lot.
So did that happen to you guys?
I mean, we've had
50-50.
we had a lot of people that have reacted very positively to one of the slower songs on our album Morning Star, which has been not a surprise, but it's interesting because
So early out the gate
Yeah.
that people would identify it before we've developed more.
they're already wanting to feel the deep stuff.
Yeah.
I like that you guys put together the lyric video. I just watched the one for Stardust that was up, and I think it's cool because it gives fans kind of that visual element to relate to it too, and then they're reading the lyrics, and then they're learning the lyrics, so then they're belting them out.
Well, one thing that we try to do with anything is have lots of layers to what's going on. Like if you're going to do a lyric video, you know, not just put out a lyric video and just have it be that. You know, for us, it's like we have a lot of concepts and principles and vibes to what we do. So it's a lot to take in, but at the same time that we still want to introduce them in certain ways. So like in that lyric video, every vowel is replaced by a personal symbol of each band member, you know. And so then now you start to catch on to those things, and just, you know, between live footage and then point of view footage and then all the effects and everything, is just trying to show all the little different things that kind of relate to what we are, instead of just being, hey, we just put a lyric video out, you know. It's just always trying to take everything to another level.
Well, I noticed that. And are you seeing fans now start to kind of label themselves with the symbols and things like that? I'm sure that's going to pick up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we've been seeing that a lot lately, where we come to the shows and people are emulating the basement video and putting all the song symbols on their hand, and we get on stage and there's just, you know, a whole bunch of people throwing up the signs. It's pretty cool.
It's got to be kind of surreal to look out and see, and the crowd always wonder what it looks like from your point of view. Like we see it from the other side, but it's got to look awesome.
Oh, it's great, and it's just like everything. It's encouraging. You know, it just tells us again that, you know, we're on the right path and we're pushing the right buttons that we need to push. So just continue doing what we're doing.
Absolutely. Well, being that we're a site that kind of looks at the good and the bad sides of pop culture, is there anything that you guys possibly can't get enough of these days or are really tired of?
I don't know. For me, I've just been stuck in a bubble of just being work, that, you know, I kind of am shielded right now. You know, I'm aware of certain things, but I haven't, like, gotten too annoyed or too passionate about anything else except what we're doing. You know, it's just, you know, without trying to be self-centered about it. It's just, you know, we hear a lot of music every day.
Yeah.
It's the same music every day, so, you know.
Yeah, I completely agree. It's a lot. It's become very. I have no idea what I'm going to say. Yeah.
Without sounding dismal, it's work. It's our job, you know.
I mean, I heard the road can kind of be like rinse, wash, repeat, like show, go. You know, I mean, it's different, but at the same time, it is.
I mean, there's not a lot of time for us to sit there and watch YouTube and listen to radio and go, oh, what's new this week, you know, because we're just so busy with what we're doing. And then into moments in time where we have some time off, we can dig into some stuff. But for the most part, we're just really focused on what we're doing. Kind of lose contact with politics and fads and all that stuff.
Yeah, and when we're home, a lot of the time, I just get sucked in by all the bands I know we're about to go tour with. because for me it's like we're going to spend this time on the road with these people. You know, I want to really know what they're about because I'm going to spend all this personal time with them. You know, I don't want to like just try to learn what their songs are. You know, I really want to like have a real opinion and be able to talk to them. You know, talk shop with them because I'm doing music, they're doing music. So, yeah.
I'm sure that's helping to cultivate a lot of relationships too, you know, like with fellow bandmates and members and things.
For me, it's just a mutual respect, you know, like I don't want to come into it and just be like, I don't know who you are, I don't care, you know. I want to show that, like, you know, we're all here for a common purpose, and I appreciate being on a tour with you. I hope you appreciate being on a tour with me, and you know, so I want to know a little bit about you and where you come from.
No, that's good. I'm sure it helps because I am sure that there are bands that got and they just don't even interact with each other at all. You know, and it's just kind of like, all right, moving on, next city, that's it. All right, we're done. Bye.
Yeah, you know,
It can happen one way or the other. You know, spend a lot of time hanging out with, you know, like the Miss May I guys and talking about the very same subject, and it's cool to kind of dig into each other and figure out what we're about.
Well, I want to thank you guys so much for taking a few minutes out to speak with me. I appreciate it. And I'm sure the best way for us to keep up to date with you is website, Facebook, Twitter, all that good stuff.
GeminiSyndrome.com, Facebook.com/Gemini Syndrome, Twitter/Gemini Syndrome.
Great.
It's really simple.
Awesome. No problem.